Hi, it's Dan Lier, #1 best-selling author and the most requested speaker in Las Vegas. Have you ever felt like you knew what you wanted to do, but you just haven't gotten started yet? Or maybe there's a few options for you, but you haven't moved forward on any of those options. Well, today's success track is about getting started and creating momentum in your life and your business. Sometimes just getting started, whether it be a new goal, a new project, it's very challenging. Yet the small distinction that allows one to get started is purely psychological, and I'm going to share that with you today. Think back to Newton's first law of motion, which states in an abbreviated format that an object at rest tends to stay at rest, and an object at motion stays in motion. Newton's first law applies to human behavior as well. Why is it so hard to get started sometimes? From a human behavior perspective, it gets down to uncertainty. As humans, we search for certainty. We thrive with certainty. We feel good when we're certain. Certainty gives us that permission to move forward. On the opposite side, with uncertainty comes indecision. Is this the right choice? What if this doesn't work? Is this the right time? We've all been there at some point in our lives. When we don't feel like we have a clear picture of what the next step is or what we should do, oftentimes we don't do anything. Not doing anything leads to feelings of stagnation, mediocrity, and decreased self-esteem. So today, I'm going to share with you a strategy on how to move forward now. The key is taking that first step. Oftentimes, when we feel paralyzed, it's because we're overwhelmed at where to start. I was talking to a friend last week, and he was expressing his desire to write a book about the lessons he's learned in leadership throughout his years in business. He was asking about publishing options, self-publishing, editing, design, distribution. He had so many questions. Unfortunately, these questions were causing him to do nothing. Because when wondering how this whole process worked, he hadn't written his book yet. He wasn't moving forward. Here's the formula for success. Break your goal, your project, or your vision down to the smallest step. For example, I asked my friend if he had a title for his book. He said that he did, but he still wasn't moving forward, and he was frustrated. I suggested that he sit down and sketch out what he thinks the chapters could be, meaning the titles or the subjects of each chapter. Well, he did just that. It was amazing, because the simple process of actually writing down the names of what he thought the chapters could be brought him inspiration. It gave him momentum. Then I suggested that he start to fill in his first chapter. That's right, I said fill it in. You see, writing a chapter sounds very daunting, so I suggested he start filling it in. A week later, he had a solid working chapter, and he was inspired to tighten it up and start working on chapter 2. He was moving forward. You see, nothing happens without movement. So in order to succeed at anything, you must get started. You must take that step forward. One of my mentors and friends, the iconic Les Brown, said that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So what can you get started on today? What have you been putting off and it's weighing on your mind? Simply break down that goal, that project, into simple steps and just do the first one. Do the first step. Take that first step today. So make that phone call, set that meeting, take that first step today. Remember, an object in motion stays in motion. Take your first step today, and by the year's end, you'll have made some tremendous progress. Great job. My name is Dan Lier, and remember, this is your year to rise above.
Rise above, 'cause no one can stop you now, just never give up.
Gotta rise above, everybody gotta